Hello everyone, welcome back to our AWS Advanced course. So you remember we have discussed lots of things in the previous video. So in this specific video, right, we are going to talk about IAM service. In AWS, there's a service available called IAM, Identity and Access Management. This is the first service we're going to talk in this advanced AWS course. Why we have taken this particular service as a first level of service? Basically, when you go any environment, login, authentication, and authorization is the first priority. Okay, so more than that, if you refers to any particular project, people will be giving more priority for the security of their infrastructure. So in terms of ensuring who are available in my project, who can log into my AWS account, who will have what level of privileges to ensure that basic authentication, strategy and security, we must be familiarized with this IAM concept. So in any project, if you take, there will be minimum, 10, 20, 30, 40 members will be there. So we cannot use same credential for all the users, right? That's not possible. Security wise also, it's not recommended. So that is the reason we are going to create a specific user account for each and everybody. And how are we going to use all those things, right? We are going to explore. And by end of this video, you all will be familiarized with how to create a user account, how to create a IAM group, how can we log in with the user account, those things we will get a clear exposure. So as I told you already, in AWS, each and every services will have their own dashboard. And the same way, IAM also have got this particular dashboard, what you are the screen. So this is a brand new account. So it is giving some security recommendations and all right. So we will come and talk about them a little later, but our intention is to go ahead and create a new user. This is the dashboard I told you. How many groups are there so far? 0. How many users are there so far? 2. Yes, for this training purpose, I created a couple of users. How many roles are there? 3. How many policies are there? 0. I didn't provide nothing. So entirely, this is a brand new AWS account. So I'm going to talk about how to create a users and how can we assign a permission to the user. So we all know in the last session itself, we've talked about the important AWS service. Okay, in that journey, we are with the first AWS journey. We are with the first AWS service, identity and access. Imagine in our project, there are certain people are available. Okay? Taking IAM. Imagine in our project, there are certain people are newly joined. Example, there's a person called, John. There's a person called, Mike. There's a person called, Kumar. There's a person called, whatever. There are 4 guys are who newly joined in my project. For those 4 folks, I'm going to set up them access privilege. Okay. In that case, most commonly, right, Mike and John, right, they are literally little senior folk. Okay, these people are fresher. When these people are fresher, right, I'm going to give them a read-only access to some certain services. Something called EC2, they'll get the read-only access, and S3 also they will get the. So where if you take John and Mike, these folks, right, they're gonna get a full access for same 20 S3. Okay, so these guys are senior, these guys are freshers. All right. Let's implement this in our AWS console. If you go to AWS console, right, there is an option here called user. Either you can click over here or click over here. Either way it works. So if you can see, there are a couple of users are already created. You can ignore them. Along with these 2 users, I'm going to create 4 more users. Okay, let me click on create user option here. Let's give the username. First username like John. Provide user to console. Provide user access to AWS console access. Of course, yes, I need to provide my console access. Are you providing console access to a person? Yeah, specify user and identity center. I want to create IAM. Yeah, let me create the IAM user. Let us give a custom password. My password for John. So user must be create a new password at the next sign. So when John try to log in, right, that time he recommend to update the password. Right. So now what I'm going to do? I'm going to click on next. Here's the place how we can assign a permission. So I told you, right, John and Mike are going to get access to EC2 and F. Kumar and Ranjit going to get access to read-only for these 2 services. So that's what we are going to manage it over here. If you have a group created already, you can add the user into that group. For now, we are not having any group. We are going to discuss in another 10-15 minutes only. So we can ignore this. Copy the permission from X user. If you feel like the same permission existing users are already having it, mean you can replicate the permission from the X user. In our case, it's totally new. So we need to go and attach the policies there. I cannot, bring it from the excerpts because these 2 guys are administrators. Administrator in the sense they'll have full permission. So let me click on this. Here you go. By default, AWS provided, 1226, 1226 policies are already in place. Now I'm going to search for John. I'm going to provide 2 lakhs. When you search like EC2 full access, you will click on it. Similarly, you need to search like F3 full lakhs. Okay, you need to select whatever the policies you want. Then you need to click on next. So you can see username is John. We have provided a custom password. Yes, when he log in, he should reset the password. We have provided a permission. Amazon EC2 full access, Amazon S3 full access. This is to change the password. We ask him to change the password, right? So this policy will come along by default. Okay, this is tagging. About tagging, right? We'll discuss on the further session. I don't know since it's optional, so I'm leaving it. Let me click on create a user. So cool. If we go to the users, this is the login URL. All the copy. Username is John. Password is okay. Let me go to users. You should be able to see John has created now, but there is no last tag. New user. Right? What I will do, I'll open one of my another browser. I have a Chrome browser. Right now I am in Edge browser. Let me open my Chrome browser as well. Go there. Let me try to log into that AWS account. So let me log in. It takes me into the login screen. What I need to do, better I can copy the login URL, paste it over here. So as for the username, John is the username. Password is welcome 1 2 3 like that I read. Let me sign in. You remember, right? First time it will ask us to do it, not the. I've updated the new password. So right now we have logged in as a John. So we all know what are the permissions we assigned. S3 and EC2 permission we assigned for John. So if you search like EC2, search like S3, okay, you are able to see, create. You can create the resources, all those things, right? You can do it. All those things you can do it. But let's open IAM where we do not provided a permission for John. So look at this, getting an app. It's not able to see any data under IAM because we have not provided a necessary permission for John to IAM service. Like that only, we need to control the authentication and authorization. Who will have what kind of access, all those, right? We will have to control. Okay. So since I created a John, similarly, you guys try Mike as a task. Let me create Kumar. You guys try to add Ranjit as a task. Okay. So I'll go to this browser now. Okay. I don't want to know. We just validated. I'll log out from the closing. Here is the place where I used to create the user John. Along with John, now I'll create a user called Kumar. So if I refresh it, right, seeing the data 1 minute before John has logged. Okay. So let me create a new user called Kumar. So we need to provide my EC2 read-only permission. S3 read. So likewise, here created the user called Kumar as well. So now Kumar can log in. So likewise, in your project, people who works, right, they'll have their own credential. They'll log into that database. Okay. So this is the first level. Of course, yes, we have a few more options also available. Something called federation, SSO login, all those things. That's a basic level of authentication into AWS account to ensure your account to access your AWS using graphical user. Okay, this is how user creation happens. Now imagine we need to create one more set of people, more set of user 1 or 2, user. These guys are belongs to DB team, so we need to provide a RDS access to this RDS access. So when many people are wants to get a similar permissions, right? We need to use groups in AWS IAM, right? There is a functionality available called groups user. Even if you go to the dashboard, you're seeing the user. There's something called user. Here you can go and you can create a group. Example, usually we'll use WhatsApp group, right? In WhatsApp, why we are using WhatsApp? Many members, 10, 20, 100, 200 members will be part of the WhatsApp group. If I post one single message, all 200 people will receive that correct broadcast. Similarly, the users groups also AWS provided for a same reason only. Okay. When you create a group, you can add all the members. You are adding any permission, you are removing any permission, you are doing any sort of thing, users will be getting reflected. All 100 users will be getting. So let me click on create group. Okay, I'll create the group name as like team, something like that. Okay, if you wanted to add any IAM user to the group, you can add it for now or later also you can. But our intention is to add user 1 to 200 users we need to add, not John, Harry, nobody. So here is the important part. So I am searching for the RDS full access. I am mapping to the group called DB group. Again, right now we can DB team group as create. Now what I'm going to do, I told you, right, I'm going to create hundreds of users like this. Okay, I can add them into this particular. I can create a user 2. I can add them into this particular. Likewise, you can create hundreds of users in your account. When you create your users, right? You create your users, you go inside, should be able to see permissions, RDS full access. This I have been retrieved from the group, retrieved from the team. Okay, so this is how you can manage your group by selecting your user. If you go to the groups tab, you would be able to managing your groups. Also, if you go to the user group, if you go there, 2 users are part group now, one only. If you have future, you wanted to change the permissions, go to permission tab, just update the permission over here. We apply to all the members whoever belong. This way, users and group creations are different AWS IAM. User and group creation are different in AWS. So in this video, we would be able to understand about what is user groups and what is users. Let me come up with the upcoming video to discuss what is mean by IAM policies and how can we write a custom policy. All those things, right? We will discuss. Until then, thank you. Thanks for watching this video.